Lionel Messi, the life, legacy, and legend. Origins: Lionel Messi. In a quiet corner of Rosario, Argentina, on June 24, 1987, a boy was born who would one day command the awe of millions. Named Lionel Andres Messi Cuccittini, his parents, Jorge Messi, a steel factory manager, and Celia Cuccittini, a part-time cleaner, had no idea they were welcoming a future legend. The neighborhood of Barrio Las Heras, where Messi spent his earliest years, was modest, tight-knit, and soaked in the rhythms of everyday Argentine life: football, family, and faith. From the very beginning, Lionel was different. Shy and soft-spoken, he preferred action to words, especially when it came to a ball. He wouldn't let go of it, his grandmother Celia once said. Even before he could talk properly, he was kicking things around the house. Celia, a powerful figure in young Messi's life, often accompanied him to games and was his biggest supporter. Her passing when he was only 10 would leave a permanent mark, and to this day, Lionel looks to the sky after every goal, a tribute to the woman who first believed in him. Football wasn't just a game in Rosario, it was oxygen. Streets served as makeshift stadiums, and matches raged from morning till sunset. Lionel, despite being much smaller than his peers, would dazzle everyone with his skill and control. At the age of 5, he joined Grandoli, a local club coached by his father. His tiny frame and delicate build made him easy to overlook, but when the ball reached his feet, everything changed. Defenders fell away. Teammates watched in awe. Coaches couldn't believe their eyes. It was his uncanny dribbling ability, the low center of gravity, and his balance that stood out. Even then, he didn't run, he glided. He didn't power through, he danced around. The ball stuck to his foot like a magnet, as if controlled by invisible strings only he could feel. He played like he was possessed, said one youth coach, not by anger, but by something divine. But even as his talent grew, his body didn't. By the age of 8, it became clear that Lionel was far smaller and less developed than other boys. His growth stalled, and his energy waned. His parents took him to doctors, and after rounds of tests, the diagnosis came: growth hormone deficiency, a condition that would cost around $1,000 a month to treat, a sum the Messi family couldn't afford for long. Yet even this obstacle couldn't dim the light of Lionel's dreams. He kept playing. For Newell's Old Boys, a club with a proud history in Rosario, Messi began attracting attention beyond his city. Scouts whispered his name in Buenos Aires, even in Europe. Videos of him scoring 5, 6, even 7 goals in youth games began to circulate. He became the face of a youth team known as the Machine of '87. A squad that lost hardly a match and scored goals like rain. But time was running out. The treatments were expensive. Local clubs, including River Plate, showed interest, but weren't willing to take on the medical burden. It was then that destiny, in the form of a tryout for FC Barcelona, knocked. It wasn't just a shot at stardom. It was a lifeline. The diagnosis and the Barcelona move. By the age of 9, Lionel Messi's world was splitting in two, one filled with dreams on the pitch and another with fear in the clinic. He could carve through defenders with ease, but when it came to his body, he was powerless. His official diagnosis, delivered in a sterile doctor's office in Rosario, was growth hormone deficiency, GHD. The condition meant his body wasn't producing enough of the essential hormone responsible for physical development. Left untreated, Lionel risked never growing beyond a diminutive height, never building the strength or stamina to endure a full professional match, let alone thrive in one. The Messi family, tight-knit and resilient, faced a dilemma few could understand: the monthly cost of the hormone injections, a regimen that involved nightly shots, was equivalent to over $1,000 a month, a colossal figure in the economic climate of late 1990s Argentina. Jorge Messi, working at a steel factory, and Celia, cleaning houses part-time, tried everything to make ends meet. For a time, the family paid out of pocket. Later, Newell's old boys helped, but it wasn't sustainable. Football for Loinel had always been salvation. Now, it had to be a solution, too. The family began exploring alternatives, hoping that a club, any club, would not just see Messi's talent, but invest in his future. River Plate showed interest, recognizing his once-in-a-generation potential, but ultimately backed away when they saw the medical costs. Time was running out. Then a flicker of hope came from an unexpected place: Barcelona, Spain. The audition in Spain. At the time, FC Barcelona's scouting network was expanding into South America. A talent agent named Horacio Gagioli, based in Catalonia, had heard of Messi through a relative. The club arranged a tryout. The Messi family, desperate yet hopeful, made the decision to gamble everything. Jorge Messi took young Loinel across the Atlantic to Barcelona, while the rest of the family stayed behind in Rosario. It was 2000. Messi was 13. The tryout took place on the club's mini estade adjacent to Camp Nou. Loinel, undersized, nervous, and far from home, stepped onto the pitch in front of academy coaches. Within minutes, those watching realized they were witnessing something rare, something precious. "He was like an alien," said Carles Reixach, technical director at the time. "He did things with the ball no one else could do." Messi stunned the coaches with his dribbling, his vision, and his instinctive understanding of the game. The issue wasn't talent, it was bureaucracy. Would Barcelona, one of the most powerful clubs in the world, sign a small Argentine boy with a medical condition, relocate his family, and commit to paying for years of hormone treatment? There were hesitations, meetings, delays, red tape. Jorge Messi, growing frustrated, threatened to leave Spain and take his son back to Argentina. That's when Carles Reixach made a move that would become football folklore: the contract on a napkin. One day, in a cafe, Reixach, needing to formalize a commitment before Jorge pulled out, took a napkin and scribbled down an agreement. Barcelona would sign Lionel Messi and pay for his treatment. It was unconventional. It was borderline ridiculous, but it was binding. That napkin would later become one of the most iconic artifacts in football history. Soon after, the family relocated to Spain. Jorge and Loinel stayed in Barcelona, while the rest of the family joined later. Loinel entered La Masia, the club's famed academy that had produced players like Pep Guardiola, Xavi, and Iniesta. He was shy. He missed his mother terribly. He barely spoke in class, and he cried at night, missing the warmth of Rosario, the presence of his grandmother, and the streets where he first fell in love with the game. But on the pitch, none of that mattered. There, Lionel Messi was becoming exactly who he was meant to be.